guys defensively with the scheme that Michael Brown came up with the Playmaking.
Yeah.
What was it that was different about it, and how effective was it?
You know, we had our biggest opponent screen, and it was not a trap, but you know, they were really aggressive on the ball handlers. So I think that was really good for us. You know, just when teams have guards who are scorers, and they use the ball screen a lot, I feel like we can't just rely on the guards. Really, has to be a collective effort. So the bigs did a good job of being active and then still spinning back to them.
Okay, you know how good last season's team was offensively, and this season's team has not really looked like that much. Was tonight kind of for you? Did this feel a lot kind of like last season's team in that sense? You guys were shooting, playing offensively.
No, it's still two different completely styles. I feel like we could get there though. You know, we got guys. I feel like we're super talented. It's just a matter of us all clicking at the same time. I feel like we really haven't had a game besides today that we all played well in one game. So. This is a matter of time. I feel like once we continue to make plays for teammates and continue to get guys open and make the easy play, that's going to continue to up our play.
Well, what's the key to making sure that's not just a one-game blip and you guys keep doing that going forward?
We got to stack days. We got to watch the film on this and everything that we did. Just double back down on it. I feel like the main thing though is defense. Like when we play good defense, we get out in transition. Transitions are bread and butter. So once we get out in transition, I feel like that kind of sets up our half-court offense.
It did look like the chemistry is getting better. Even when you hit the three there against Missouri, that was a great possession. And then tonight it looked like that extended. Have you felt that in practice, that is developing?
Yeah, that's the one thing I feel like. Obviously, the last game was a blunder in the last 4 minutes, but I took some good stuff from that game in terms of like our offense and how connected we've been. Our ball movement really good, but we just got to keep on building on that.
What were you seeing tonight? You mentioned defense and getting out in transition. I mean, you got 5 steals, and I don't know how many points those led to, but it seemed like a lot. What were you seeing there?
They were just really eager on getting their guards the ball. So I feel like a lot of times they weren't really looking at the passing lane and the bigs. Like they were really trying to get the guards the ball. So I was just being aggressive, trying to jump the lanes. That's what I do best.
And with the transition, I mean, Coach Post's been talking about it since the preseason, I feel like. But it seemed like even last game, he's still having to rally guys to run down the court. So do you feel like people are starting to finally get it?
Yeah, we're getting better, and that's because we have so much talent that everyone wants to come get the ball and make a play. But that's the good thing about it, that we don't have one designated guy that could just stop it and get the ball. Everyone could go run. You could pass to anyone. We could advance it. So I think we're still figuring that out. But I mean, the past couple of games we're getting better.
Otega, when things got to the point of you guys being down 12, it seemed like Malachi really helped you guys kind of flip the switch. What's it say about him as a freshman to be able to give you guys that kind of boost?
Yeah, he's not a typical freshman. I feel like he's super mature, both mentally and his game. He doesn't get too high. He doesn't get low. He's gonna bring the same energy every single time, no matter if we're up 12 or down 12. And when when a freshman does that, when you're an older guy, it just makes you want to continue to follow that and probably even up that tempo and that intensity. So Malachi's been super good, great for us.
He was around the team a lot last season. Were you around him that much, and did you kind of sense that about him before he got here as a player, that he might be this type of mature?
Nah, if I'm being honest, I didn't think he was going to be like this because he was skinny last year. Like, he was a little frail. He came here, he put on weight, and I remember because I got hurt in the summer, so I was watching a lot. But there was a 2-week span where he just went crazy. Physicality just went up through the roof. Rebounding, scoring, passing, he just started doing everything. But that just shows that he's a quick learner. He pays attention, and it translates to the game.
Otega, how difficult has it been as a teammate seeing Jalen go through yet another injury?
Yeah, it's definitely difficult. Super annoying that he's in that situation, but because I know how much he wants to be out there. That's our PG1. So the fact that he's putting his body on the line, going out there every single night and practicing every single day, it just shows how much he loves his team, how much he just loves being out there. So it definitely sucks, but we gotta uplift him and play for him.
How'd you feel having Denzel? And it was really cool when I heard that I had a couple steals tonight.
Malachi, after the Alabama game, Coach Nato's talked about how you guys have really struggled to get assists out of the post and from the 5 position. Coach Pope's talked about how the 5 position does facilitate a lot in his offense. Tonight you took charge of that with 6 assists and 1 turnover. How important is that coming from the 5 position in this offense?
That's Pope's bread and butter. You saw what Amari Williams was able to do last year. He was a big time assist guy, very few turnovers, and that's how he builds his offense, is just being able to put the ball in the 5's hands and letting them make plays. So I think tonight my teammates just gave me the trust with the ball in my hands, and I was able to make plays and find them.
When you all start trailing, but you all obviously have the big switch, was it a look? Was something said because you all clearly flipped the switch after getting down double digits?
I think we kind of just didn't come to play our best at the start of the game, and we needed to come out after that first media timeout with a different intensity, and we did. And I mean, guys like Cam and Jasper that came off the bench, and Colin that came off, gave us really big minutes, and BG as well. So just having guys like that really shows our depth, and I think they kind of gave us that extra boost that we needed.
I remember when you committed to Kentucky, you talked about the way that Pope likes to utilize big men, facilitate with the ball in his hands. Can you describe what your playmaking process has been like since arriving here to arrive at a night like tonight where you can have so many assists against a high major opponent?
We work on it every day, just being able to make the right reads and being able to make those kinds of passes. And I think now it's just starting to translate in the game, and it's just making everything so much easier for me.
Was there a period of growth you had to go through with that? Like, how would you compare your ability now to
I think
numbers?
definitely when I first got here, a lot of turnovers because the passes are made in tight windows, tight corners. But I think as I've become more comfortable with it and become more confident in my ability, I think I've really stepped it up.
Did they tell you about the company you joined tonight?
Yeah, they said Shea and Shea and Rajon Rondo.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said before, it's a big time accomplishment, but at the same time, they have goals I can only dream of. So it's just another stepping stone for me. It's just another thing to achieve.
Which of those stats do you like the most? Which one are you most proud of when you go home and look at this one tonight?
I'm just proud of the win. I could care less about my individual stats.
We heard you guys cheering in the locker room. How much confidence does this give the group that this is working, Pope's system is working in this
I think it definitely gives us confidence. It allows us to really enjoy making plays for each other and really just enjoy the team basketball that we play all the time in practice. I feel like the last couple of games, we haven't really been able to show it, and I think tonight we were really able to show people who we really are and just being able to take a big step forward.
Would you say that the assists were the biggest difference maker tonight, or if not, what do you think was?
I think our team defense was definitely a big factor. They got hot early, and then we kind of started cutting off their water. And like our coach Jason Hart says, he says a wolf is only as strong as the pack. So I think today we came together as a pack, and we took pride in defense, and that's what got us the win.
Cam, after that first few minutes, you guys played with a better pace.
Mm-hmm.
Just talk about how that felt on the floor for all of you guys, playing with a better pace.
It felt great. We just kind of try to get our transition buckets as we normally do. Sprint corners in transition, try to get our shooters open, let our players that get downhill, and trust our guards to make the right play because they normally have the ball in transition scenarios. So we know that we have great guards who understand the game on a high level, so we just all do our job and it works. So.
You all have had several games where you had long stretches where the shots just weren't falling. What was the key for that not happening tonight?
Really just trusting our work. Even though it may not go in, obviously as much as we may want it to, we can't just shy away because it's not working. For example, shooters, if you're not making shots, that doesn't mean just stop shooting. Just keep going. And we just kept working on what we needed to work on, kept the game simple. And we got the win tonight, so we need to carry it over to next week and just try our hardest to win.
Sorry, how much does sharing the ball help with that?
It helps a lot because I think we had 21 assists, I'm pretty sure. So just moving the ball around, make the defense kind of rotate a lot. There would be some possessions that we might take a quick shot or whatever. So we just try to emphasize, slowing the game down, play at our pace, move the ball around, make the defense rotate, and we just found our open teammates. And, kept scoring, just go keep doing it.
Cam, you were scoring downhill, which I don't know that we'd seen you do a lot. Is that just a matter of being comfortable? Where did that come from?
You can say comfortable, you can say more confidence, you can say. Because Pope, he has a lot of confidence in our guys that he wants us to kind of get outside our comfort zone. So having a support system and a support staff like them just makes you want to just keep playing as hard as you can. So I'm grateful for them.
There's a moment there in the first half when you guys were coming back and you had a defensive stop, I think on the other, forced the turnover that kind of got the momentum going. How do you feel about where your defensive game is now and how you can impact games on that?
I feel like as a team, we all try our hardest on defense and kind of try to take pride with that because no one wants to get scored on, obviously. So we really just emphasize in practice and through film that we're going to keep our defensive presence because offense may not be rolling one night, but our defense, it can. You can play hard. Like, the ball might not go whenever you shoot, but you can control how hard you play, and we just play hard on defense.
Could you feel the kind of the energy that gave, especially the fans seem to really appreciate that play?
When you get stops, it definitely makes the game, fun because if you get stops and you're in transition, you're scoring and you're stopping them from scoring. It just keeps adding up one possession at a time, and it worked out for us tonight, so it was great.
We've heard a little bit about a new offense, but you guys are running a lot of zoom action tonight. Was that just something you saw on the scout, or are you guys kind of leaning back into that a little bit?
Nah, we already had the zoom in our playbook, you can say. We just kept it simple, just stayed within that because we knew that we can get the looks that we wanted, the way that they were guarding us. We just kind of took what the defense gave us, and we just kept making simple plays, making plays for our teammates, and it worked out, so it was great.
Coach Pope talked about a different defensive scout. You weren't out there in the first few minutes, but there were some breakdowns there. What do you think flipped from there, and how different was this for you guys to play this scheme and playing your own?
The scout, like I said, it was great. We knew what we wanted to do. We knew what we needed to do. We knew that they were guard heavy, so we just tried to take the guards out to play as much as possible. They passed the ball up, trying to let them get it back, and kind of like not like a deny, but pretty much. And we knew that they kind of relied on their guards to make the plays the most, and we just tried to make their bigs playmakers because we didn't see that, and it worked out. So we'll keep it going.
Malachi had a stat line tonight. They said where he joined only Shea Gilgeous-Alexander and Rajon Rondo had accomplished that. What did you think just watching the big man operate on both ends of the floor?
Malachi, he's a great player, freshman, but he plays like an upperclassman. I think he had 5 steals tonight and 5 assists, something like that. So you got to see that he's using his wingspan to the best of his advantage, getting in lane steals and making plays for his teammates is what we kind of emphasize in practice. So having a skilled big like that's as young as he is, it shows that his potential when he gets older, he's gonna be a great player.
I think his maturity level, he doesn't come across as like a normal 18, 19, however old he is.
Nah, he's Malachi. He's a great individual. Definitely one of the funniest guys in the locker room. Keeps our spirits up, regardless of everything. And like I said, having a guy like that in the locker room just keeps everybody's spirits up. So,
Cam, kind of talking about teamwork.
That Oweh kid, man.
Aside from the win tonight, Bo said he was happiest with the assist margin, 21 in total. What do you think factored into the success that y'all had tonight compared to some games where it was lacking a little more?
We just kept the ball moving. We try to make the defense rotate a lot. There'll be some possessions where we might take a quick shot where we didn't really need to, but we kind of just made plays for each other and not really tried to, keep the defense stagnant. Because we was wondering, like, whenever the defense didn't move and we just couldn't really get into our actions because we took quick shots. So making them move allowed us to, create lanes for our downhill guys to get downhill or our bigs to make post passes and our shooters to get open.
Was that emphasized in practice this week?
Yeah, we just had to really rely on that because after the Bama game, we didn't really do that. And Missouri game we did. We just kind of gave the lead up at the end with the turnovers. But we knew what we needed to do, and we just needed to close the game out. And we would have closed the game out the last game, we would have had that. So we just really emphasized, protecting the ball and making plays for each other, and it worked out.